G'day folks, and welcome back to Sydney Retro MTB. Today's video is to show you how to get a Vital MTB bike of the day. As you saw in a previous video, I cleaned the Rocky Mountain RM7 and did a bit of a bike check on it with the components. This video I was going to film like a full-on rebuild strip down, but it's not necessary to do it on this bike. There's a few bolts on here which I want to clean up around the shock area, and also I want to align the tyre logos up with the valve holes, and because they're not aligned at the moment. I'm just going to take the rear cassette off and clean that, and just clean the jockey wheels on the rear mech. Everything else apart from that is in amazing condition and doesn't need any work doing to it. So the next part of the video that you'll see is I'll go through a bit of a how to take bike photograph segment, and hopefully can give you some ideas of possibly submitting your own work to Vital MTB and or other websites, and just generally have it on your Instagram page or Facebook page. So I'll try and go through some how-to shots of what to do. But yeah, this little video is just a tiny bit of a polish up of the existing components off the bike, which don't need to take a lot off. I might go and polish the Monster T's as well, just with some aluminium polish, some metal polish. So stay tuned and we will see you in the next clip. Okay, so I've run into a little bit of a problem straight away. I don't have any cone spanners for any kind of hub axles or anything like that, which I've been doing bike mechanics for years, but I just don't own any cone spanners. So I can't take this axle out, and this is the only tool I have for getting the cassette out, so obviously I can't put that in there to get the cassette out. So we're just going to have to do a manual clean while it's on the bike with the brushes, and hopefully we can get it a bit cleaner than it already is. So as you can see here, we've just got a lot of crud on the jockey wheels. So just got a 2.5mm Allen key, and we'll take this bolt off here, and we will get rid of all that crap we just built up on both the jockey wheels there. So while that is in the hot water and the degreaser, just soaking for a little bit, I am going to get the wire brush on here and get rid of some of the rust that is that's on these end bolts, just to make them sparkle a little bit more. So there was some essentially electrical tape to protect the chainstay, which was awesome, but now it's left a big long residue all the way along here because the masking tape is years old. So this is what I use. So you've got to be quite careful with this. You can use a product called Goof Off, which I don't have, but this is throttle body carb cleaner. So this actually is really good for getting rid of sticky residue off old decals, but you don't leave it on too long because you can actually it can actually go into the paintwork. But just a light coating, leave it for a few seconds and then wipe it off, and then hopefully it'll come off. So you just wait till that spray works its way in for a few seconds and then go in with the cloth. Okay, that's got heaps off, but I'm going to do it one more time because there's still residue on there. I'm going to try and work it around in a circular motion now, very lightly, just to try and get the gel and the gunk off. Okay, you can still feel it on there, so again, quick top over, and then a good wipe afterwards. The majority of the adhesive has come off, and now there's a bit of a protection barrier and a clean as a degrease. I'm going with some WD-40. And that's got it all off. As you can see here, we've got some rust on these bolts, and there's a few other bolts around the place, like down here and stuff like that. So I'm just going to take them off and then get the sandpaper on, put them in the drill bit and then get the sandpaper on them, try and clean them up a bit more. We've just got a couple more bolts which we'll do here, which are just on the bottle cage bolts there. Just this front shock now, and then this rear bottom linkage, but I've just done this one, and this one, so you can see the difference. Oh, nice and shiny, that's good. I'll most probably take this bolt off here, off the chain device, and try and give that a polish up as well, and we'll see how we go with this bottom one. Okay, so we've done all the bolts on here, looking nice. I just noticed that the seat clamp bolt is rusty, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to get some car plastic interior polish on the back of the seat, so just to try and bring the plastic back to life. Okay guys, so a little bit of a condition report on the front end. Got a few bolts kind of dotted around which, you know, I've got rust on them. Obviously the stem cap bolts have got rust on, so they've got to come out. It's all easily done, but it's just time consuming. I'm going to come down here and basically the bolts on the crown, top crown, and on the main lower crown, so both sides, they've all got this kind of weird little bit of corrosion on them, so they're going to get sanded down. And even coming down here onto the arch, onto the bridge, even these have got like calcification kind of markings on them, and there's a rust marking there as well on that one, so all these have got to come out. And then as you can see, the actual metal here is quite dull. I know it looks shiny on here, but it is actually quite dull, and there's a little bit of pitting on here as well. If I just take away the actual direct light, let me just shine this away a little bit, might be able to see it a little bit better there. So yeah, I'm going to try and polish all this up, and same on that side, and then on here. So I'm not going to film that because it's going to take ages to strip all that down, but that is the next job. Okay, so the external parts are nice and clean. I'll grease them up and then put them back on the bike. But we have a little visitor. Hey, come here, Bilbs. Hey, buddy. Bilbo's back on the channel. Hey, dude. Yeah. You good boy. You're helping me today. You're so licky. Get his multicoloured eyes. It's cool. It's like David Bowie. All good. Yeah, boy. Okay guys, we're into day 2 of cleaning this beast. It's been 35-36 degrees over in Australia, so I've had to stop work through the day because I've just been too overcome by the heat in the man cave. But as you saw in the last time-lapse video, we have cleaned the brake arch for the Mazzocchi Monster Tees. I'm going to polish the silver parts on here. Now here's just a couple of little caps which were on the wheels, just on the valves, so as you can see they've got a bit of rust, so I'm going to clean them up. And I've actually found some anodized green Schrader valve caps which I've had for years but never used them, and obviously just with the green I thought that might be a nice little touch for the beast. And here's just some subliminal stuff that maybe you don't see with content creators. I've actually set my light at the back here green, how it has been the whole time. I'll just turn my lights off so you can actually see. So again, this is just for the content creation. Try and have a little bit of green to coincide with the green on the frame. So there you go. So just put the valve caps on. I don't know if it's a bit too much, but this is a bit of a weird one. Now the rear tyre is a 2.7 and the front is a 2.5, but the actual printing of where everything is slightly different. So basically the logos at the bottom are matching with the 321 disc logos, but the actual high roller logos at the top here are just slightly off center, which is a bit annoying, but I don't know if that's due to the actual tire width or it's just the way it's been printed, because they might be from different sections of the factory. But at least the logos are lined up where they were totally skew with before, so it is 95% better. And then yeah, we've got the valve caps on, so they look a bit weird with the yellow on the wheel set, but it might look super cool when it's on the bike itself. But there we go, the wheels are done. Okay guys, so we've got the frame laid out. I'm going to clean the try and polish the lower legs. Now just here, I remember when I first got the bike, this had some masking tape on it just to protect the lower end, but it has left that residue again. So I'm going to go really light on the carb cleaner again, because I don't want the decal to get damaged. And I'm just going to use a Scotch pad just to see how we go with this. So I'm going to be very delicate because I don't want to damage the decals, but yeah, both legs have got some residue on them, so let's give it a go. Okay, so I didn't film it, but it has got the residue off, but the Scotch pad is just a bit too much because it has actually scratched the decal a little bit. It hasn't pulled it off or damaged it, and like really damaged it, but it has got some kind of like scuff marks on it. So this one I'm just going to use a normal rag just to try and get the residue off, but it has all come off around it. There's quite a lot on, so just got to be a bit more careful. But up close, obviously you might be able to see it, and obviously because I haven't got the arch on here, I can actually spin the legs a little bit just to kind of see what's going on. But look, it's off, and that's cool. Alright, they do say you know, you learn by your mistakes, and yep, I just used the normal rag just to get it off. I left it soaking on a little bit longer, and yeah, obviously no scratch marks and all the residue has come off, which is cool. So learned by that one, and that one's come up amazing. So let's go and try and polish this stuff up now, and yeah, we'll see how we go with this. I'm going to do a time lapse. There is also some corrosion up here, so I will actually use that Brillo pad there just to try and see if that'll actually come off, but I'll go very light on it and see how we go first of all. Right, so as you would have seen in that very small time lapse, because it only took a few seconds, I used the Brillo pad, and then I used a little bit of wire wool. Now, none of that kind of pitting is going. It's polished it up a little bit, but I'm going to use auto salt polish anyway. So I am going to go and get some sandpaper. I'll go really light and just see if we can clear that up a little bit more. Okay guys, so yeah, as you just saw from that time lapse, it was a combo of 1200 grit paper and the Brillo pad now, or the Scotch pad. Now, yeah, it basically hasn't took the pitting off. This is a bit too far gone. You'd have to like fully get like a steel or brass metal brush on it, which I'm not prepared to do. It has cleaned it up, and there was some kind of residue on the back here as well, which I got off. So what I'll do after I've cleaned up all these other bits, I will get the auto salt polish on it, and yeah, take it from there and see actually how it shines up. But I'm not, because these are so rare and kind of pretty valuable. I'm not going to start messing around with these like it would be for like a Ghetto AF frame that I always do. Yeah, I don't want to go any deeper than this, and I'm just going to have to leave the aging on the forks. Okay guys, you know the drill. Auto sol to rub it in first of all over here, and then we will get the drill bit with some of the polishing wheels on, and then we will wipe it down afterwards just to give it that bit of a glow and a bit of an extra shine. Let's do it. So I'm going to call it a day just for a little bit because it's 33 degrees, it's nearly max temp for today, and yeah, we're still going. So we've polished up this leg, it's looking pretty good. Now I need to start on this. It's really quite intricate. I didn't realise how intricate it was going to be, but one side is done, which is cool. We'll get this side done, but I'm going to go in for a couple of hours, wait till it cools down, and then crack on with it. You're welcome back. It has just started to thunderstorm, so brought everything back in, and now I am going to put the arch back on the forks. The polishes has been done, as you would have just seen before, and what have you. So this is how it's looking at the moment. Looking really good. And yeah, let's get this arch back on. Okay, so just in the other clip, I said I was going to use a plastic in-depth treatment polish. So I'm going to put this on the back end of the seat, and it should bring everything up really nice and deep with the black colour, and because it is plastic, it'll also treat it and just make it look really good. Okay, so the bike is now fully clean, polished. It wasn't a restoration, it was just more of a restoring the existing quality of it, which was absolutely awesome. So it was more just like a bit of a touch up, but yeah, let's go on to the next phase. Okay guys, so this is going to be the location for today. It is quite a snaky area, so lots of snakes can actually hide under these rocks, so gotta be careful of even like baby red bellies or brown snakes. Super dodgy, so I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest. But here's the bike. I thought it'd be a nice contrast, have the greenery behind. The light is directly above us. The bike is precariously held up with a stick. And yeah, so what we've got here is we've got the cranks totally level, and we have got the pedals completely level. I actually like to have the chain about 3 cogs down from the top. Some people like it directly at the bottom, but I like to see the stretch on the rear mech, so that's why I like it like that. We have the wheel logos. They will be officially lined up, they're just not there, so they need to be adjusted just a little bit for the angle. Obviously the wheel is straight, everything's polished and cleaned. So I've got my camera now. This is actually a 50 to 500 millimeter telescopic lens. It's pretty big, but what this does is it actually allows me to kind of go right back there where my camera bag is, and I can actually use some of the fauna as kind of a focal in-depth shot at the front to get the depth of field, and by moving further away and zooming in, it's going to kind of blur the background out a little bit more, so obviously all the focus is on the bike. So yeah, let's go and try and get some shots, and if they come out pretty well, these are the shots. Okay guys, the rain's just started coming in, so got to pack the bike up, camera gear's all packed up, and we'll go home, edit it, and we'll see how it comes out. Lighting's alright, pretty good, didn't have to do too much adjustments to the f-stop and the ISOs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, well, I was going to Photoshop, do some post-production, but yeah, the clouds are just coming in, the rain started, so okay, back to the editing. Okay guys, just got to go through this picture and kind of what I would do for a bit of an edit. Obviously this is going to be submitted to Vital MTB, and then on my photography page, which is JDM Photography, which has been going for about 16 years now. So yeah, I do this a fair bit, but I am no whiz on Photoshop whatsoever. But I always basically open the files up in Camera Raw, essentially do a quick fix, try and go on auto. I will go to texture and play around with that just to make it a little bit more sharper. Then also adjust the clarity, and that kind of brings down anything in the background that is a bit too wishy-washy. And then also dehaze as well, so I'd kind of play around with that as well. I will go through the vinaigrette, so I'll kind of bring it in a little bit at the edges just to darken that. And then I go to profile, then go to browse certain filters. So yeah, I always keep the kind of same filter throughout the actual series that I'm going to submit. So let's just have a quick look through here. I normally use, I think it's Modern 8, I think it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, I like Modern 8, that's pretty good. Then what we'll do is we'll go back, we'll go to the lighting. You want to make that a little bit brighter. And then what I'll try and do is I'll try and wash out all the highlights. And I'll play around with the all the whites in there, because there's some whites in the background. Let's just have a quick play around with the contrast. Yeah, I think that's kind of looking okay. Then with the detail, because Facebook and everything else kind of absolutely crushes the clarity of the images, I always kind of increase the sharpening levels as well. And then I'll go to open, and then I will get processed now from the raw image and go into essentially the editing suite. I want to take a little bit, let's go to the full screen here. So I want to basically take away some of the rocks from the bottom. I'll leave a few in, and also just have it in correlation to where this foreground plant is in there. Not too bothered about the sky because it's a weird colour anyway, but I want to have kind of equal distance between the bottom of the frame to the wheel, and then from the top of the handlebar. So that's kind of about right, but I want to see the tip of this thing here, the tip of the branch, so I'm just going to bring it up there so it's all symmetrical. So how that looks. Okay, cool. Now I also want to just correct the straightness of it a little bit, because the houses in the background are a couple of degrees off. So as you can see in the corner here, you've got this white line, so that's how many degrees it's been moved by. And it is just thinking about it. Kind of pretty happy with that. Let me just see if there's anything I want to alter. No, that's about it. Okay, so that's one picture done. So go to save as a copy, and then just because I am uploading it to Vital MTB, I'll save it as a JPEG in a edited folder, and then that is one picture done. Okay guys, the angles are kind of wrong on this, but I basically shot this between some reeds and it's made the background like it's actually kind of got into like a zoom mode. So I'm going to play around with this and just see what we can actually come around from it. So let's just go into auto on the color correct, and that's already done it. So the actual, that's good because nothing's really changed, and that just kind of means that my my settings were good on the camera to begin with. Okay, let's just try dehaze a little bit. So let's put a bit more colour behind it. You can add a little bit of vinaigrette, a little bit of texture, and that's actually pulled the background in now. Okay, let's just try and see what we can go through with that modern 8. So as you can see, it's making it a bit different colour. Let's have a look. Let's go to vintage and just see what we can do, play around with here. Really bringing out the greens in that one. Kind of like it. I kind of like that one as well, where it's a bit hazy. So we'll go with that one. We'll go back, go to the light. Let's have a look at the highlights. Take some of the highlights out, put a little bit more exposure on. Play around with the whites. Bring them down. And then the blacks, we will increase the black so the saddle looks a bit more normal. Actually, I might keep that there and then go into colour burn. Okay, let's open that one up and let's just see what we can do. I'll zoom this in a little bit here. Okay. So let me just go into colour burn on the burn tool and just make this saddle a little bit more black because it's a little bit too wishy-washy, and we'll go over that twice just so it has a nice deep dark colour on the saddle there. Okay, let's go to the sharpening tool and then we will highlight the Rocky Mountain writing, the Eastern writing, and then the Wade Simmons and the RM7, so there on the letters. I'm going to highlight some of the welding as well because they look kind of cool, so just make them a little bit sharper. What else? The actual Berserker logo, and we'll actually do the race face logo as well. Let's just go to the cropping tool here again. Let's just bring that in a little bit more. Yeah, maybe even a bit more. Might lower the top edge. Yeah, that's kind of cool, I think. I'll stay with that one. Okay, so you get the idea. So it's just all about playing around. I will do them all in a similar kind of filters or kind of playing around with that, and then I'll do the upload, and then we'll take it from there and see what happens. So yeah, hopefully in the next segment I get a Vital MTB bike of the day. If not, this will be like a bit of an editing photo tutorial on how to set up your bike. So yeah, it can go either way. Okay guys, so done the editing, put the descriptions in of all the parts. I'll get to the model parts in a second, but I've just done the brand names. And yeah, just clicked on upload, so we'll upload the pictures, and yeah, fingers crossed we get the Vital MTB bike of the day. Okay, so that's it. It's in the hands of Iceman, whether he likes the pictures or not, or whether he thinks it's worthy enough of it for bike of the day. But it's all uploaded, nothing I can do now apart from wait. And just like that, guys, that's how you get bike of the day on Vital MTB. Big shout out and a thanks to Iceman, he makes the decisions on the website. So thanks once again for making this happen. It's cool. Again, no prizes, just a little bit of bragging rights, but let's just go over a recap of essentially the photo composites, and it just might put you in good stead. Now this bike in general, it's a bit of a rare bike and it has some special parts on it, so there was a good chance that it was actually going to get bike of the day. But then again, I have most probably submitted about 6 or 7 bikes which are all very, very highly spec'd and highly desirable, and they haven't got bike of the day. So it's not a guarantee, but I just kind of felt it in my bones that this is a really, really good contender. So obviously they do like quite unique and quite high-end bikes to a certain degree, or at least maybe even the photography might actually push it over the line. So yeah, I'll just go over a couple of the actual shots that are on here, and try it with your bikes at home, and don't be afraid to set up a profile on Vital MTB, and put your bikes up there, and who knows, maybe one day Iceman will choose them for bike of the day. But yeah, the achievement has been a success, and yeah, that's what I was kind of aiming to get, so all good. Okay, so just with this shot here, I basically wanted the branch on the left hand side just a bit a midway point but blurred it out, and because I was stood so far back away from the bike and zoomed in, I had a lot of room to play with the foreground. So the foreground is actually blurry as the center lock was on the bike, and then as you can see in the background, that is also blurry, not by a lot, but it's blurred out more than the actual main subject. So that's what you want to try and do within most cases, is if you step back away from your subject and then zoom in, then you got to get that kind of blurry effect before and behind the subject itself. I actually went to a little bit to the left just to get the bike on a tiny bit of an angle, so it's not just directly head on. So that was this composition shot. Okay, we've got a very similar shot to the one we had before, but I was actually pulled the focal point further back, so we actually had a bit more foreground in on the crop. Also still kept the fauna on the left hand side in a midway point to blur out, and again the background is also blurred. I did actually come round to the left hand side even more to have more void on the right. It just gives a bit of a nice framing. You can actually make the vertical crop a bit better. Just like you saw in some of the couple of edited images, I did go over with a sharpening tool on the writing on the forks and the tyres and on the frame and the seat post. So any kind of logos that are on the bike, I always kind of sharpen up, and it just brings it up to a nice point on the image. It's sometimes quite nice just to obviously do the components as well, especially for Vital MTB, because you do list them down individually. So I always do individual component shots, and yeah, I didn't want any part of the frame. I just wanted to focus on the forks and the wheels and the tyres, because they're all iconic within the mountain bike world. And yeah, so it's just a single shot of the front wheel. Okay, so I moved to the other side of the bush, which was in the mid section on the previous pictures. So came around to the the left hand side of it, and I'm kind of taking a picture from behind the bike here, not fully behind it, but obviously I'm on that angle now, so you can see the lines of the bike, you can see the head angle, and obviously you can still see all the components very clearly. We did have this bush or shrubbery just in the foreground there. Again, that's all blurred out, and just naturally by stepping away from it and then zooming into the subject, and then also again just naturally the background will also be a little bit blurred out because your focal points are going to be on your subject, which is the bike. Okay, this was actually about halfway through the photo shoot, which actually went on for 8 minutes, but in the time lapse I basically just whittled that down to 17 seconds, but it was actually 8 minutes, which is not a lot of time. I could feel the weather was coming in, and also it is extremely snaky area that I'm in, so I was just really conscious of possibly, you know, anything crawling out from under these rocks. But I actually went back into kind of similar position to what I started out in. Wanted a bit more of that fauna in the foreground, because I noticed they had yellow buds on them, so I just wanted the yellow buds to kind of go over the bike as well. I did use the burn tool in Photoshop just to darken them clouds and highlight the storm that was rolling in, so that's why obviously it looks extremely stormy, but I think that's a really good contrast with the colour of the frame, the fauna and the rocks, so I really love that shot. I'll leave you just to enjoy a few of the components on the bike, and yeah, always do close-ups of them. Again, crank arms level, pedals level, logos on the tyre, you know, in line with the valve hole. Get the gearing right on the bike so you can see the stretch on the rear mech. Anything which is iconic in the biking retro industry, again, you know, take pictures of it, because this is what people want to see. You know, this is nearly a 20-year-old bike, so yeah, you know, the rims, the Maxxis with the orange bead around the edge, you know, these things don't come around too often, so and especially things like with the monster forks as well, yeah, a bit rare. So always take these components, don't think that anything is irrelevant on the bike. You know, even like the suspension shock, how the frame design is, the welding, anything which is unique, don't be afraid to take a picture of it and submit it. I'm not a massive fan of taking non-drive side pictures. I do sometimes submit them. This time I didn't really do it apart from this one shot, just to highlight the haze brakes and the rotors, so you can just see it from the opposite end. So yeah, don't be afraid to do it. It's just not a personal preference of mine, but yeah, this is the non-drive side. Also, don't be afraid to do a portrait shot instead of a landscape. The Vital MTB website does adjust to that, so it will reflect when you're actually viewing the image, which is kind of cool. I like this image because it's quite a unique setting. This is actually like a water bed with all the rocks that have been put in it, so it's not often you would see something in this location, the bike in this location. So I just thought all the rocks behind it would give it a really interesting look to the picture. It is a little bit busy, so this is just something to keep in mind, is that obviously anything you have in the background is going to detract from what is in the foreground of the image, and obviously you want the subject to be the main focal point, but I just couldn't resist doing this. And again, I'm just on a little bit of an angle where there's a tiny little bit more image on the right hand side than there is on the left, from the back wheel to the front wheel. So yeah, don't be afraid to do it, and yeah, enjoy. So this is one of the final shots of the actual day. So I actually got both of the bits of fauna which are spaced out in between each other, and I got the bike centre in between the fauna, but moved slightly to the left, so I had a bit more open ground to the right hand side, and I knew this was going to happen when I was going to crop it. So this is that nice composition, and yeah, this is the final shot that Iceman actually chose for bike of the day, which is cool. And yeah, that's how you get bike of the day on Vital MTB, but it is a bit of a photography video and a cleaning video. So if you like any of this kind of content, please obviously don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And you know, if there's any bikes on my channel that you know, if I still own them and you want me to go back and do like a revised photo shoot, yeah, leave some comments below and what you'd like to see, or any component photography or something like that, and I'll try and put it on the channel for you. Anyway, really appreciate your time. This is a very long video, but yeah, don't be afraid to go out with your camera and have some fun, and yeah, I'll see you on the ice.